Financial freedom is having enough investments to live the lifestyle you want, not the income. My name is Darius, and what I want to focus on this video is financial freedom. And the reason why this is important is because the opposite of freedom is enslavement or imprisonment. And there's no middle ground when it comes to financial freedom. So let's jump into the very first point, which is mindset. The reason why mindset is important is because you got to where you are as a reflection of the habits and actions that you took to put you on this trajectory. And you can see that reflected in your environment, the people around you, and even your bank account, the decisions that got you there. So when it comes to money, we have to understand that money is the fruit. It's the result of the actions that we took. So if we want to change our fruit or change our money, what we have to do is we have to change the roots. We have to change what got us there. And that goes back to our mindset, because the one thing that we're doing is we're playing a mental game, not a financial game. And you can see that if let's take somebody that has $1 million worth of income. If they have bad financial habits, then they're still living paycheck to paycheck. So it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's about what you do with the money that you do have. And that's all about the mindset and habits that you have. And you can make this adjustment by being conscious of the decisions that you make, being conscious of the books that you read or what you watch on TV, or even the people that you choose to have around you. Because if you take a group of people and you have somebody that's an outlier that makes a lot more money than a group, if they stay in that group long enough, then their money will go down to match that of the group. The opposite happens also when you, or if anybody who doesn't have money, myself and my wife, change our relationships, then our income starts to change. So it's very important for us to be conscious of these things around us, because even though our conscious mind only makes up about 15% of our decisions, subconsciously we don't have any control over those other things on those other decisions that we make. So it's really important for us to focus, to hone in on those 15%, the things that we do have control of, and start being aware of it. And it all goes back to the fact is wealth is a mindset. Now, the second category, once we understand that we need to be conscious of the decisions that we're making, we need to be conscious of how we organize our finances. Where are we putting our priorities? Because a lot of times what happens is when people get paid, they'll pay all their bills first, and then they'll have a little fun and save what's left over. We need to completely flip that and prioritize our savings, our fixed expenses, and our flexible expenses. Our savings is, of course, paying ourselves first. We want to make sure we make it a priority to pay ourselves first, because we're the ones that's going out there and doing the work. Everybody else can get paid what's left over. So our expenses has to adjust to that. We may not initially be paying ourselves a lot of money, but even if we're paying ourselves $100 every time we get paid, we're still paying ourselves first. And the money will come from the other categories as we start to realize or become conscious of the decisions that we're making. So the other part is our fixed expenses. Our fixed is the things that we absolutely need in order to survive. We need housing, we need groceries, and we need transportation to and from wherever we're going, so that we can make sure that we make the income. We can't survive without food, water, and shelter. Well, some of you may argue, yes, we can, but just for understanding what's our priorities is our savings, our fixed expenses, which include our housing, groceries, and transportation, and then our flexible expenses, which are things that are our wants, like our restaurants, entertainment, and fun money. We want to go and buy a new pair of shoes. We can do that, or a new outfit. We can do that, but make sure all these other things are taken care of beforehand, and that we have money set aside for it, because it's about how we manage our money once we get our mindset right. And when you think about also your flexible expenses, this includes third-party debt. This brings us to our third point, which is when you organize your finances in priority, you have savings, you have your fixed expenses, and your flexible expenses being at the bottom. You can start identifying where your opportunity lies. For my wife and I, when we first organized our finances, we realized that third-party debt was the biggest opportunity we had. We had a lot of credit card debt. We were paying more in interest than we were actually saving. So by us being able to see this and put all those debts side by side and see how much we're actually spending on interest, we made a priority for us to get out of debt through the debt snowball method. Now, there's a video here where we actually use the debt snowball along with our life insurance policies that you can check out. But what that allowed us to do is it took our smallest debt, we paid that off, and then we rolled it over into our next expense so that we can pay our debt off faster. That's called the debt snowball. Now, once we got out of that third party debt, we started to take a look at how much we're spending on our entertainment and fun money, because what happened is our flexible expense was the largest expense that we had. And for most Americans, that's the case. And that's the biggest opportunity. That's the biggest opportunity we have, because that can be easily adjusted. We don't need any of that stuff. Nothing in our wants was providing us any income. Nothing in our wants category was providing us an income. So it was easy for us to start dialing that back and start placing money in other places. Now, the fourth thing is understanding the purpose of savings. A lot of times people think that we can save our way to financial freedom when that's not the case. Our savings account doesn't even keep up with inflation. So if we're saving all our money and we can't keep up with inflation, then we got a problem. Our savings account is supposed to satisfy three main things. That's to protect us in the event of emergency, like we lose our job or something, so an emergency fund. The second thing is make large purchases so that we don't have to go in debt to make a purchase and pay somebody else interest. And the last thing is investing. Investing is the key to financial freedom. And the reason why it's so important is that's the only way we can earn interest. Instead of paying interest, what we should be doing is earning interest. And that's my fifth point. My last point is we need to prioritize investments. And what your new formula should look like, well, a traditional formula is your income minus your expenses equals your cash flow. Yes, that's what we traditionally do. But what we need to change along with our mindset is our formula. It should be our income minus our cash flow equals our expenses. When we start prioritizing our investments or our investments within our cash flow, then what this does is it allows us to make money in our sleep, where we don't have to go out and physically operate for an income or physically work for an income. The interest that we earn from our investments will be more than what we need in order to maintain our existing lifestyle. This is how we start to become financially free, when our investments or our money is out working for us. And we can't skip steps 1 through 4 to get to this point. We have to make sure that we prioritize our mindset. We have to make sure that we organize our finances. We have to make sure that we do the debt snowball and get rid of all third-party debt. We have to make sure that we understand the purpose of savings. And then we have to make sure that we prioritize investments. By doing this year, you will become financially free, because one thing leads to another. And the biggest bang for your buck is changing the way you think. If you change the way you think, the rest of the steps will be much easier for yourself. It'll be much easier for you and your family. And what you also have to realize is this is bigger than you. You have people that are watching your moves and the steps that you make, and you may be that person that inspires somebody to become financially free also. So we have to understand that we have a big responsibility, not just for us and our family, but also the relationships that we've created for ourselves. Maybe we are the weakest link in our group, but that's not going to always be the case if we change our mindset and understand what positions that we're playing, so that we can know how to maneuver this mental game. Now, one of the things I talked about in this video is our savings, our fixed, and our flexible expenses. And if you want more information on the 50-30-20 rule, so that you can start understanding what percentage of your income should go into each category, check out our next video where I talk about that very thing. Remember to own your own lifestyle, or someone else will.